You know, tech news is kind of like Magic the Gathering. There's near constant new releases to keep up with. Lord knows it can get expensive. Both have forecasting and scrying mechanics, and people online are almost always pissed off about it. So, Nvidia's N1X ARM-based laptop class CPU was recently spotted in a shipping manifest for an unreleased Dell laptop, reigniting hype for the world's most valuable company to enter a new market. Wait, why do we want this again? The leak lined up perfectly with a new report from Digitimes placing Nvidia's big ARM laptop debut on an internal roadmap for Q1 2026. That's now! According to supply chain sources, followed by 3 additional variants in Q2, likely aimed at enterprise buyers. Meanwhile, the next generation N2 series is apparently already penciled in for Q3 2027. Okay, settle down. The first ones aren't even out yet. I'm gonna call you Sparky. Which would make sense, considering what Jensen Huang confirmed late last year. N1 Silicon is the same GB10 superchip used in the DGX Spark, Nvidia's Mac Mini-looking pro workstation for AI developers and researchers, with a 20-core ARM CPU, integrated Blackwell GPU, and a holier-than-thou attitude. But even if you're not stoked for an ARM-powered Windows laptop chip from the $4.5 trillion company, you have to admit it's interesting. Nvidia's Tegra CPUs powered the much-hated Microsoft Surface 2 Windows RT tablet and the much-loved Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. But this would be the first time Nvidia goes toe-to-toe with Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm CPUs in the Windows laptop market. Who are we cheering for? It's very confusing. When in doubt, go Linux. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, has warned that the AI boom could falter or even wiggle and wobble like some kind of bubble if AI doesn't move beyond flashy demos into real, everyday productivity gains. Otherwise, he says, companies could lose the social permission to keep pouring electricity, chips, and money into these systems. These AI companies are just like Francis Ford Coppola and his movie Megalopolis. They don't care if the product makes any money. They must perform an exercise in excess. It's art. What did you say? Investment in these businesses is what's keeping the US economy afloat? Oh, shit. I guess that's why everyone's scrambling to figure out how to actually monetize this stuff. OpenAI is reportedly preparing to introduce ads into ChatGPT, while Gemini will definitely not introduce ads, insists Google, the web ads monopoly company. Meanwhile, Nvidia's Jensen Huang is pushing back hard on bubble fears, arguing that AI isn't overhyped so much as it's underbuilt, and that large investments are still required before AI can truly transform industries. Pretty much, Satya is saying AI still needs to prove its worth. Jensen is saying, these jackets don't pay for themselves! You like my jacket? Sony has announced it's basically handing over control of its TV and home audio business, including the iconic Bravia line, to TCL, or at least to a new joint venture that TCL will own 51% of, with Sony keeping 49%. The deal still keeps the Sony and Bravia branding on future TVs, but TCL will take the lead on product development, manufacturing, sales, logistics, and customer support, while Sony contributes its picture processing, audio tech, and brand value. I mean, Sony, that's Walkman, PlayStation, Pro cameras, TCL. What do they make, tape? The goal is to battle thin margins by marrying Sony's premium image with TCL's scale, cost efficiency, and supply chain muscle. Still, it feels a little weird. It's as if Costco's in-house brand, Kirkland, bought Versace to get the fashionistas inside them big, beautiful, bulk shopping warehouses. These are haute couture, mass-produced consumer electronics. Mwah! Try the hot dogs. Regulatory approvals are still needed, and the new company isn't expected to start up until around April 2027 once binding agreements are finalized. Now, if you're a total Bravia head, don't worry. Bravia products, much like the NFL's Buffalo Bills, are not going anywhere. But someone new is going to be calling the plays. The Bills, they fired their coach. It's a football reference. I need a break. Whew, I'm gonna have a seat. On our sponsor, RevLab and their M1 sofa. What's up? I'm Party Boy Riley, and you know what I'm doing? That's right, I'm throwing a party, but my dank man cave of a basement suite is devoid of furniture. What? Well, not anymore. Meet the M1 sofa. No tools, no assembly, no heavy lifting. It arrives ready to go. And like me on the dance floor, it moves easily into any space, even tight apartments. Tight! The modular design lets you rearrange or expand whenever you want. And the premium cushions are built for real comfort in real life. No stress, no struggle, just a better sofa and cozier parties. I'm all about cozy parties. Getting a good sofa was never so easy. Ha! Unbox comfort at rovlab.com/techlink and sit back, relax, and enjoy the M1. Party time! Play the music. Now, classically, the QuickBits play mono red because they're aggro. But Sonic the Hedgehog is their favorite commander because they love flash and haste. I don't know what I just said. AMD might be hitting pause on major new gaming GPU launches until around 2027, at least according to rumors coming out of the AnonTech forums, which are still alive and well, apparently. Awesome. The chatter is driven by well-known leaker Kepler_L2, who claims AMD's next-gen RDNA 5 could arrive after Nvidia's RTX 60 series, also rumored to launch next year. If true, that would make 2026 a pretty quiet year for new Radeon GPUs, and GPUs in general, really, as AMD focuses on timing, process nodes, and competitive positioning rather than rushing out new cards. I know patience is a virtue, but I wouldn't be mad if y'all rushed out a new card. I said it! The tech news guy thinks new GPUs are cool, so sue me! I'll see you in court! Twitter has open sourced its recommendation algorithm, which decides what shows up in users' feeds, right as the platform faces a looming EU transparency fine and renewed controversy around their AI companion, Grok. Is that what we're calling him? Sure. The move follows long-standing promises from Elon to make the platform more transparent. Although it only took him 3 years from when he made the poll about it? I've been recommended things constantly on Twitter since then, and I had no idea why. How does it know I like things? A French court has ruled that Apple can keep app tracking transparency turned on, rejecting advertiser demands to weaken and remove the feature. ATT, first introduced in 2021, forces apps to ask permission before tracking users across other apps and websites. And most users say no to that. No thank you, for obvious reasons. French ad groups argue that the feature cuts targeting effectiveness by nearly 50%, but the court found no abuse of power on Apple's side, which is a little ironic, given that blocking everyone else from harvesting your user data and serving you personalized ads just allows Apple to do it by themselves. Honestly, I'm okay with that if it means that the only thing being advertised to me is a $300 phone satchel. Hey, remember that Swiss assisted death pod that led to several arrests and later the assisted death of the doctor who helped oversee its first use because of the psychological damage that was caused from being involved in that whole situation? Yeah, well, it's back. Now with AI, the Sarco pod, developed by Exit International, is being updated with an AI-driven mental fitness screening meant to assess the user before they use it, including a new model called the Double Dutch for couples. Apparently, having a psychologist is too expensive, so the new plan is to have an AI agent assess both partners to see if they should be allowed to die and then give them 24 hours in the pods to think it over. I feel like this is probably the one thing, the absolute one thing, that AI should definitely not be used for. I mean, they already kind of look like the Matrix battery farm pods. What are we doing? Okay, that was dark. Let's end with some good news. American and Korean researchers have collaborated to develop a stretchable OLED that can double in size without dimming. Haha! They used ultra-thin Maxine electrodes and specialized organic layers to keep the display bright even when stretched, achieving a record 17% external quantum efficiency. And while I don't know exactly what external quantum efficiency is, the important thing is that apparently flexible, wearable displays are closer to reality than ever before. I think the real question is, if they brought this stretchable OLED onto Jimmy Fallon's show, would it actually stretch? Or would it get performance anxiety like the last guy? That's rude. I won't judge your performance as an audience member. If you come back on Friday for more tech news, I gotta go get some packs of Lorwyn Eclipse. Y'all know I'm a big Kithkin guy. Lil knockoff brand hobbit ass freaks. Jeez, that's a little, okay. Sorry. Nathan wrote that. Tweet Nathan. I don't know if he has Twitter.